There's a very specific 90s movie villain, the dad's girlfriend, who absolutely should not be the dad's girlfriend. And today we're ranking the worst future stepmoms in cinema, so buckle up. Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jackie, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. This week, we're ranking the worst of the worst in future stepmoms and welcoming back our pal Sonia.
Hi.
Hey.
Who is anything like the furthest away from evil stepmom energy, but wonderful mommy energy.
Evil regular mom. Bio mom. No, I try to be decent. I don't know. I'm doing the best I can. And somebody's first wife for now.
So how's it going? What have you been up to?
I'm good. I've just been, working, having kids, watching movies, sort of. I've been doing better. You guys, I'm working on trying to get through a certain number of new to me movies every year. It's going okay. Going okay. I've seen a lot of stuff that I liked, working on being pop culture relevant in the midst of having a toddler who controls the television,
Yeah, that's hard.
Real hard.
Yeah. What show are you watching because he likes it?
Oh, right now it's a lot of Spidey and his amazing friends and PJ Masks. I'm very caught up. I have a lot of opinions on that. Where he's in a big Ninja Turtle era. He was Leonardo for Halloween. My husband's very thrilled. He took over his Ninja Turtle love. So I've been doing a lot of like the 90s Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Which actually I think is fine. Like I'm enjoying it, honestly. Which, side note for anybody out there listening, the Mutant Mayhem movie that came out, this is not for kids, but like not for like little kids. The Mutant Mayhem movie that came out a couple years ago with the cartoon one, excellent.
Oh.
They had all teenagers playing the Ninja Turtles, which you don't realize how crucial it is until you remember that they're the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and them being teenagers is actually so cute.
Oh. Is that the one where April was black?
Yes, it's IOD.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to check that one out.
Highly recommend. Very adorable. Very adorable.
When my brother and sister were younger, I was very strategic on the things that I would show them because I knew if they like hyper focused on it or fixated on it, I would be okay rewatching it.
Exactly.
So my brother, Power Rangers. Had no problems with that because I grew up really liking that. And two, Spider-Man.
It's great.
I'll watch the Spider-Man movie again.
Again and again. So the cartoon that's on Disney now, Patrick Stump does the music, like Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy does all the music.
Ooh,
it's great.
Cool.
It's so good. Like we will listen to that, like the soundtrack separate from not like the Spider-Verse, like the actual cartoon series that's on Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Like they really said, millennial parents, we're gonna do this for you.
We got you. What are you watching that has nothing to do with your son?
That's an excellent question. What am I watching? Mostly TikToks.
Well, I know you watch a lot of reality TV because you've been on our other friends podcast, Best Week Ever.
Yes.
So
shout out to Van. Love you.
So any fun reality shows?
No, I'm kind of bouncing around between a lot. I'm like never really tuned into any. This is like the worst, I told myself I was never going to be this type of parent. But oh my God, what do I watch anymore?
Well, are you watching the new season of Love is Blind?
I want to wait for a little bit more to come out and then binge it. But the way everybody's talking about it, I know I have to get back in.
Yeah. Our friend Maria watches it and she's been posting about it. And I just can't do it. It feels like I'm going to have trauma just watching how, especially like with there's a lot of black men and black women and
I've heard that
men of color.
Nobody is dating inside their race for the first time or something, like refuses to date within their, like, it's normally like, oh, I wouldn't normally, yuck. And it's like, be serious. Be so serious. And I know all these people too are like in their 30s. Like this is like a particularly old, quote unquote, not like, whatever, present company, but like, I think that they're all in their 30s, which seems like it should be a better choice, but it's like the fact that they're acting this way makes it kind of worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes it realize why they're still single.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Jackie, what are you watching?
I have a few things. I watched the miniseries on Netflix, Fit for TV, about The Biggest Loser.
Mm,
Oh,
It was very insightful, and how like Bob still like maintains like
that
he
everything's
was.
fine.
Yeah.
Right. So
Jillian,
does Jillian, right?
no,
Doesn't
well,
she?
Jillian declined to participate in this docuseries.
too busy being on Fox News, I suppose, saying that
She's
Yeah,
a
slavery.
exactly.
What was it? It was
horrible,
that
horrible
slavery was
human,
like a choice, or like what was it? Like it was.
horrible human
Wild.
being.
And even the producers at one point they're like, "Well, it worked." I was like, "Hold on." There was just a statistic that was stated that all but one of them gained all of the weight, if not more, back. So
Oh,
yes, it works if you're in a silo and getting screamed at and like diet restricted. But as
Right,
soon as you go back to your real life, like it's impossible to maintain. You're not teaching them healthy habits.
right.
right.
Not
And there was
sustainable
no
enough.
mental
Yeah.
health going on,
No,
right?
Oh my
none.
God,
It was
I'm
the
sure.
opposite. They were
Right.
doing things. They're
They were
like,
getting hazed, basically.
yeah, they're like, here's a table of donuts. Whoever eats the most wins a video call with your kids.
What?
Yeah, like it was fucking wild.
I can't wait till they do, I don't know if they have already, but a documentary on trading
Space.
spaces, the wife swap,
Hmm.
and the home makeover one with Ty
Oh, yes.
Oh, oh,
that
oh.
came from trading spaces. Something tells me there's so much tea on
Yes.
all
Well,
three of
one,
those
I think
shows.
a lot of those people for the last one, Extreme Makeover, I think some of those people lost their houses because they couldn't keep up, right? Like with
Right.
the
Yeah, because all of
whatever.
the renovations inflated their home value and they couldn't afford like property taxes and stuff like that.
Right.
Craziness.
Crazy.
I think it's been so funny watching all the internet discourse around like the America's Next Top Model thing
Hmm.
that people are participating in a lot of revisionist history of like, oh yeah, well, why didn't anybody have a problem with the Swan? And I'm like,
We
they
did.
We
absolutely
did.
did. Like, I think that show lasted like what, maybe 2 seasons,
Yeah.
if at all. Like,
Let me
I
just
there was so much discourse around that, around, my bread and butter, like flavor of love. Like people are just like, I can't believe nobody said anything. I can't believe nobody was mad at America's Next Top Model at the time. It's like, no, people were actually really uncomfortable with it.
Yes.
Yes. Yo, as soon as she was going on there and having black women chop off their hair, I said, bitch,
I That's why
crazy.
that particular line of like thought where people are like, "Oh, if you didn't like it, why were you watching?" And it's like I distinctly remember being a high schooler and dreading the makeover episodes
Hmm.
because they used to like fuck those girls up and then somebody inevitably would go home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody had to go home. So it was like you're watching somebody have to go back to like bumblefuck flyover state with like an America's Next Top Model like Bob.
Which I've been encountering more and more of the former contestants, and they're like just spilling all the tea. A
Yeah.
couple of them have to wait until the Hulu
Mhm.
docuseries comes out. But there was one that said one of the girls left. I want to say it was Ebony, maybe
Mm.
left. And to punish her, they like wouldn't let once you were eliminated, essentially you were put in a hotel room where you didn't have a key to the room. Like you didn't know really where you were. You didn't have any of your stuff, no ID, no phones, no money. And then like when they went overseas, they would take you with them and then you had to stay, like you were essentially in solitary confinement
So
for
did they
the.
not believe? And this is crazy to think that like this they were doing all this before social media. Like
Yeah.
you guys didn't have strong enough NDAs? Like what's the issue?
Yeah.
I
That
I
sucks.
didn't watch that show religiously, but I remember when Yaya didn't win and to I think it was Takara.
Yeah.
First of all, they were calling her plus that. I was just like
Yeah.
my mind couldn't conceptualize that
Um,
and how they treated her. I was just like I can't watch this shit. This
Yeah.
feels toxic.
And it
So,
and in that series, especially, like the way Tyra talks in it drives me fucking crazy. Because I'm like, we know how you talk, we know your cadence, we know your affect. Every time she was asked a question that was like questionable, like why you did this, or she had to explain herself, her affect would change. And it was like she was explaining it to a 3 year old. And she'd get real low register and like lean in and like, well, and I'm like, you were driving me fucking insane.
this guy, you just made a lot of sense to a video I saw earlier because I didn't watch it. So he was talking about how Tyra talks and how she does it for storytelling
Mm-hmm.
effects.
mhm.
It's like just like you said, especially when she would she fucked up and wouldn't she doesn't take
No,
accountability. And
none.
I
No, not at all. I don't think she has it in her. I
No.
think it's going to be her and Natalie Nunn one day seeing their tapes for the terror they've caused. No, but like I don't think Tyra has the capacity to ever think that she did anything wrong. I think
No.
because like she's one of those people that like I went through worse. Like I don't even want to think about what she was subjected to in
yeah.
her day,
Right.
but like in her mind,
She,
she's it's
she's not a
hazy.
boomer. She's not a boomer, is
Oh
she?
no, no, she's Gen X.
But
Yeah.
she gives boomer vibes in the
Well,
set like that
well,
whole
Gen X.
if I suffered, you suffered too kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do feel like millennials don't feel that way. I feel like we're kind
No.
of like,
Like we want to make sure that you don't go through what we went through.
or
Yeah.
we're just sitting in awe on how audacious the Gen Zers are. Like
Yes.
Oh, totally.
if you work in a corporate environment and see a Gen Zer and they're dealing with your boomer boss, you're sitting there with popcorn laughing.
That's a good chunk of my coworkers. We are constant like the handful of millennials that are in the office are just like
When they,
all the
it's
time like,
just
"Oh my God, did you just say that?" Like, why are you answering that email that way? Like,
I don't have time for this. I am taking my personal day, like just
Yeah.
yeah,
wild. And I'm like, oh, I need to be
and no
like
fear.
them.
Yeah.
No
None. They
fear.
don't even understand why you think it's weird.
Yeah.
It's
Protecting my peace. So
hilarious.
like,
Right,
okay,
Right.
right.
good on ya. Oh, the only other thing that I started watching was Platonic on Apple TV with Seth Rogen and Rose
Ooh,
Byrne.
Oh, okay.
I
It
didn't
is,
finish the first season, but I did like it.
yeah,
I
like
think.
it's just fluffy. Like it's just if you need something on and it's funny and like just some of the situations are just wild and but it's super fun and they have really good chemistry and banter back and forth. There's an episode where he talks her, so they're the premise is that they used to be best friends and then he was marrying someone that she didn't like, so then the new wife didn't like her, so they hadn't talked in like 5 years. She finds out he's getting divorced, so she reaches out to just check on him and stuff. And so it's she throws him a divorce party and someone brings cocaine and she's like, I'm a mother. Like I haven't done cocaine since like college. I don't want to. And so like they finally talk her into it. And someone was like the person that brought it is like, yeah, I'm sure there's cocaine in it, but it's mostly ketamine. And so she goes on this, she falls into a K hole. And the way Rose Byrne acts it out, I was dying. It was so funny. So I highly recommend it if you just need something in the background or like at night when the baby's in bed and you just need to like veg out.
I do
It's
need
really
that. Yeah.
enjoyable.
No, that sounds great.
I feel like Rose Byrne is one of the actresses of our generation and does not get enough love at
Yes.
all.
Absolutely. 100%.
She is
So great.
funny. She could be dramatic. her comedic timing is
Oh, it's so good.
impeccable. Like obviously everyone talks about Bridesmaids, but not enough people have seen the movie Spy with her and Melissa McCarthy, and I'm just like, I
Love that one.
that's my
And
shit right there.
she just recently said too that's like the hidden gem in her filmography. That like
Yeah,
not enough people have seen it and they should. And I agree.
Yeah.
it is so freaking good. One of my favorite movies. What am I watching currently?
Yes, what are you watching currently? Yes.
K-drama right now that I'm watching is called Typhoon Family. And the funny thing is, I remember turning it on, wanting to watch it when it first dropped. I think it was like October last year. And because it has the guy to this other show that I watch called King of the Land or something like that. It's supposed to take place in the 90s, and his outfit in the first episode is hilarious. And he's at the club dancing, and I said, I can't take this seriously. I don't know what this is. And I turned it off. I went and watched like six other dramas in between. And I said, you know what, I'll try. I need something else to watch because the other show that I'm watching only comes on new episodes on Saturdays and Sundays. So I was like, fine. I love this show. I I was quite surprised. One thing that I'm learning is that I do like a period drama
Hmm.
for K-dramas, but when it does it like the 80s, 70s, 90s, not necessarily the like
Bridgerton.
old time or sorry, forgot what is it, Joseon dynasty period,
Yeah.
I think. I hope I said that right. Please don't kill me. But I really like when they do those time periods because then it gives me a glimpse of like what Korea could have been like in that time period because we never really conceptualized that other people were living in the 80s and 90s and 2000s,
Yeah.
you know? And so yeah, I really like that. I like found family shows. And I do like a rom-com, but this one's like a mixture of the found family drama and there's some romance. So I
Mm.
really like it. Highly
Nice.
recommend. Haven't finished, but I've been taking my time because I'm like, I won't have anything else to watch. But that's it.
Excellent.
Good
All
stuff.
right. Let's let's get into the game.
Okay, so our game this week is Future Stepmom Showdown, and we're going to work together and rank these iconic dads' girlfriends from absolute worst to mildly annoying. Our lineup is Meredith Blake from The Parent Trap, Clarice Kensington from It Takes Two, Glynis Payne from What a Girl Wants, Selma Quigley from Nanny McPhee, Vivian Berger from Au Pair, and Debbie Klasinski from Problem Child 2. Okay. Any initial thoughts?
That you guys are gonna have to do a lot of heavy lifting because
You're gonna.
it's been so long since I like literally I saw the words all pair and I was like memory unlocked. Like I was like, oh. And you know what's crazy is it's one of those movies where I swear at the time, like I probably could have said it word for word, and now I don't remember a thing. I'm like, oh my God, except that one, like the makeover scene. I remember the makeover scene, and that's it.
I randomly remembered Debbie Klinsky from
Klasinski?
from Problem Child 2, but I feel like no matter how evil she could have been, she should be at the bottom of the list because that dude, the son was
So
bad,
bad.
Junior, even when he started to get good because he fell in love with his new adopted father, but like that boy was bad.
Yeah, I
So I'm gonna
agree.
give her a pass.
That's fair.
First instinct, Clarice Kensington is number one.
I would not argue with you on that.
She's
And here,
awful from the get.
I
Awful.
think the difference is that Meredith Blake, I can go on for days about how she was wronged in some ways. But the difference was that Clarice, her boyfriend, fiance, she knew about his child.
Right.
Meredith knew kind of, but like didn't know there was a twin. So I feel like she got blindsided and that wasn't fair, no matter what a bitch she is. Clarice, she knew what she was
Well, and
going into.
Clarice was like, I don't, there was just more like vitriol
Yeah,
toward the
she was
child.
from the
Yeah.
get-go. Like that's the
Yeah.
thing is like there was never like Meredith, like I think the reason why people have a lot of feelings about her in hindsight is like it might have been an act, but she came out like kind of fine. Like she tries to introduce herself and like
Yeah.
it's hostile from the get. Clarice, like from the beginning, is like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, fuck everybody. And also too, because my husband was watching it with me because we were both working from home today, that it was like we were talking about timelines. Like about like Clarice versus Meredith. And
Yeah.
like we were like Clarice probably was around longer, like at least a girlfriend, like because the dads deserve a little bit of smoke in this situation too.
Yes.
But
Yes.
like because we were like at the very least, I would assume that I always forget which twin, like Alyssa, Amanda, whoever.
Alyssa is
Alyssa was oh, right, Alyssa. Alyssa was probably maybe home over Christmas break, maybe, right? We're assuming, or
hmm
she could have been away for the whole semester. So they had more time to be engaged versus like what was Annie gone for like I mean Hallie gone for like
I think
a month?
Yeah.
I feel like he was seeing a Meredith for a while. And like, cause
Secretly
yeah,
behind
like,
Hallie's back.
yeah, I think he was out with her, with Meredith. And I feel like maybe even if they weren't dating, Meredith does PR and
Mhm.
was working with him for
Yeah.
a while. So
Yeah. And the like, I don't want to say like the child started it, but really Annie and Haley went in hard at the introduction of Meredith because they wanted their parents to get back together.
And
yeah.
also like I mean, we were kids when that movie came out. Like all those jokes that like all the jokes she makes about how young Meredith is, I was like, I don't remember feeling that way about Meredith as a kid. Like
No.
Meredith was a grown up.
Yeah.
Like they acted she looked like she was like 18 years old. Like no kid would have like that's a grown up over there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it was just when we think about who wrote that film,
Yeah.
that's why it was put in there to talk
Yeah.
Right.
about this young little because there is a huge gap between, well, I don't know, a huge, but it's to show that he's
Right.
definitely dating under his
Yeah.
Right.
age. But
But
I
all
would
that to say Nick deserves more
he
smoke
needs
than
more.
Meredith.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely.
100%.
I would say second, Glynis Payne. She was pretty terrible.
She was. And on top of that, she had her daughter
Yeah.
being terrible. So it just made the whole situation horrible. And on top of that, her daddy was orchestrating all that shit. Like the only
Yeah,
reason
second
she was,
place.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Good
she
point. I forgot.
sucked.
Yeah.
Generational sabotage.
Hateration, right?
Okay, Vivian, I could barely remember the au pair, but funny enough, it's played by the same actress who played
Yeah,
Clarice.
that's right.
And I've
So
seen like comparisons that it's almost the exact same
it
character
is.
That's
as
right.
Clarice. I would feel comfortable. Honestly, I don't remember Selma Quickly from Nanny McPhee.
I don't either, but I feel like she wasn't as she seemed like just really annoying, but not
Okay.
necessarily mean. But
Okay.
I can't remember. All I remember is that my boy Colin Firth was in it, and that's all I needed to know.
So probably Selma fifth,
Yeah,
Vivian Berger from Au Pair. I would say third
yeah,
because I
because
That sounds
feel
she's
about
like
that
playing the
sounds
Meredith
same.
is middle of the road. Like she wasn't terrible until they started like
Fucking with her.
yeah,
yeah.
like
Like
sending
sorry,
her into the
after
middle of the lake on an air
right, exactly.
mattress.
You do that, I'm gonna threaten to send you to boarding school too, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have our list. Number one, worst girlfriend, Clarice Kensington from It Takes Two.
Yep.
Second place, Glynis Payne from What a Girl Wants. Third, Vivian Berger from Au Pair. Fourth, Meredith Blake from The Parent Trap. Fifth, Selma Quickly from Nanny McPhee. And sixth, Debbie Klockinsky, oh, that it's hard, from Problem Child 2. Excellent.
Solid list. Now
Solid.
here's a quick twist.
Okay.
If we could eliminate one of these future stepmamas from hell forever, who would it be? My vote goes to Vivian Berger because we already have Clarice.
Yeah, it's
That's
Clarice,
true.
redundant. It's a
yeah.
redundancy.
That's valid.
if we could reform one of them, who would it be?
I'm gonna I'm gonna say Glynis because like you're fucking up your kid. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like she's inflicting
Yeah.
trauma on a lot of people, and I think reforming her would be beneficial to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah.
Breaking generational trauma.
Exactly.
If you could give one of these a villain spin-off, who would it be?
Oh,
I want to
Meredith.
see Meredith.
Meredith.
I
Yeah.
would watch her get ready with me all day.
She deserves a redemption arc. Like she needs to do her own PR. Like
Right.
she
Yes.
needs to like rebrand her life. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So many PR stories would be coming out about Nick's Vineyard.
Oh my
Like there's
gosh.
rats, there's
Like all you need to do is be like, look at his fucked up custody arrangement.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever buying that wine again.
He can't tell one kid from the other.
Right.
He didn't even know which, right? He didn't realize his kid was switched.
Yeah.
Be serious.
Jesse clocked it immediately, and the dad did not.
Yeah. So this is a fuck Nick Parker book.
Yes. Love to
Well,
hear it.
if the fact that this is a trope, like this, the evil, what I purposely wanted to make sure is that we didn't do stepmothers because that's a totally different situation. And
Mhm.
then we start getting into the Cinderella of it all. So, but this is a trope as well. We have the disposable girlfriend, boyfriend in rom-coms, but this is a very specific trope of like, and I think it comes from The Sound of Music
Well, I guess
because,
technically it comes from earlier than that, like all of the fairy tales, right? Like that is the
That's
but the
true.
like
girlfriend, not the stepmom
I guess that's
situation.
true.
Yeah.
Like
Because
the we didn't get that far yet.
yeah,
Yeah,
because that's what happens in The Sound of Music. He
that's
has
right.
Yeah.
that girlfriend, the Baroness,
That's right.
and then you just see that trope rolling through and
Yeah.
everything, all the way into you see it in the TV show The Nanny. It's not necessarily girlfriend. Cece is the best, the business partner, but
Hmm.
it's that same vibe.
Yeah.
So speaking of that trope, if you could change this evil soon to be stepmom trope in any way, what would you do and why?
This is an excellent question, by the way. I think this is a fantastic question because I think the fact that it exists is kind of representative of a certain degree of misogyny, right? Because
Yep.
like
Right.
it's sort of like how I always felt about the show Wife Swap, where it's like it hinges on the idea that you never really take a mom or woman seriously, right? Like
Hmm.
she's temporary technically. All of her rules, anything she tries to put in place are subjective, right? So with all of that in mind, I was like really thinking about this, and I realized something I would love to see is more redemption arcs.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the movie Stepmom does that pretty well. Like, not that she's, so big and bad, but like,
It
it's
flips the whole trope
It's
on its head.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I think it makes it more nuanced. And I think in an age obviously where more people are getting divorced and splitting up, like I think and I you think about how so many movies like this movie alone, like not even about stepmoms, but just like about different things kind of gave you like presumption. Like this was like a very early movie I watched. We'll talk about it in the actual episode. But like, like you think about like how as a child your perception of certain concepts that you had never been previously introduced to like are shaped by the media you watch, right?
Yeah.
How many kids do you think went into meeting new step parents assuming it was going to be fucking terrible? And like,
Yeah.
Yes.
and not to blame the child, obviously, you know what I mean? You're a kid, it's complicated. You want your parents to be together, whatever. But like, I think that I'm sure that out there were parents who tried or people who tried and were like immediately met with a ton of hostility because like this is the relationship they expected.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And like,
100%.
so, and like, not that that gives an adult an excuse to be shitty or not try, but like at all in the slightest. But like, I think for kids to see more representation of like, it can be fine,
Yes.
Yeah.
like, I think is really important. So that's my suggestion.
I also would like for this trope to not be sandwiched between there's an evil girlfriend, but my dad should be actually with this woman who's been in charge of taking care of me, my
Hmm.
nanny.
Mm,
I think that mixes it. It's very weird.
yeah,
I I think that should be deaded, you
Yeah.
know?
that's a great point.
What about you, Jackie?
I think removing the like alternative would be interesting, where the dad kind of really realizes on his own without having like a new love interest to turn
Yeah.
to,
Yes.
Yeah.
and just kind of sees through kind of the persona that she's displaying to him versus his children.
I think to add to that, would the best thing to add to that trope in general would be that the father puts their child's needs first and
Yes.
Yeah.
realizes that this person does not want to be, they might be a good match maybe for them as somebody they could be a partner with, like they like them, but
Hmm.
wouldn't be a good partner for their child.
I feel like that is kind of the basis of like where this trope starts though, because
Hmm.
like I
Yeah.
mean I think it like handles it poorly from there on out, but like I think a lot of the time it's the idea that the father has been alone so long and been so obsessed with his typically daughter, which if you want to get into the fucking Freudian shit of that, where it's
Yeah.
like a more or less a replacement that like the daughter does not know about, but it's like this he's been dedicating himself so much to his daughter or his children, and they just need a mother that they are willing to accept anybody because we're about like a very thin line away from Smart House,
Yeah.
right? Like, or a
Right.
movie like that, like where it's like, like we're looking for this surrogate mother, whatever that means. And
Right.
like I think it would be nice to see the fathers held a little bit more accountable for their poor judgment.
Yeah,
I
because
also, go ahead.
in a lot of these movies, it's not really even the father has centered the child in their life. It's
Right.
the caretakers that have
Oh, good
centered the
point.
child.
T, you're absolutely right.
So
A
it's
hundred
like,
percent.
it's not even the parent saying, or the dad saying, "Oh, I need to take care of my kid." Like, Vincenzo is taking care of my kid. Chelsea's
Yeah.
taking care of my kid. Like, and
Yeah.
when you do see the child being taken care of, like in Parent Trap, it's the mom taking care of the daughter, not typically the dad.
Yeah. And you're right,
Yeah.
because they have that same moment. I'm sure we'll talk about this, but like they have that
Yeah.
same moment in both movies where it's like the realization from
Hmm.
this is like, I remember like every single like thing. And you're
Yeah.
right, it is the caretaker both times.
Mm. Very great answers, ladies.
Thank you. Now it's time to put Sonia in the hot seat for her three employee picks. Let's see what movies she'll stock on the shelves at Blockbuster.
Yeah, so this was actual fucking torture. Thanks a lot, guys. You said really fun to vote on, really, really terrible to have to answer. Okay, so I went for within this span of time that y'all cover, I tried to pick like one movie from when I was much younger,
Hmm.
one movie from a little bit older, and one movie that was a little bit older than that.
That's good. A
So
good
with
strategy.
with that in mind, like right, like I did like sentient enough to have like opinions, but like then like nothing before I really got into high school.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, Adam's Family Values, my favorite movie of all time.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Love it. And I was talking about this because my husband, y'all need to have my husband on. He's like, you guys would have a ball. But he's sitting there answering. I'm like, you're screwing me up. So Adam's Family Values, because I was doing movies that I was like, I loved them at the time and they still
Mhm.
hold up incredibly
Yes.
well now that I'm an adult. Not just that I enjoy watching them for nostalgia's sake, but I genuinely enjoy watching them. So Adam's Family Values for the 100th time. Shit, what was my second one? Oh, The Mummy
Excellent.
and Holes.
Oh, good, 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 good.
Yes. Love those answers.
That wasn't too bad.
That was
No.
actually terrible because I had to cut so many movies. My husband's like, I'm surprised you're not doing this one. I'm like, shut up. I can only do three.
Well, if you guys want to follow along on Sonia's adventures, Sonia, why don't you tell everybody where they can follow you on social?
Yes. I am on, this is like a completely different answer than last time. I am on like Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at No Chillery Banks.
And don't forget to follow us at No More Late Fees on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Threads, all the places at this point.
And as always, be kind and rewind.